In this video, we want to create a smooth animation effect when interacting with grid items. In particular, we're looking at the hover event. So I'm just going to scroll slightly up to show you. This just builds on the previous two videos. The previous video, we spoke about the double click event, and the one prior to that was the click event. So I've just sort of arranged the comments a little bit better. In each one of these, I've kept the same comments because all of these event listeners are only going to execute when all the HTML content or HTML document has been finished loading. And so the same thing when we reach this first comment that we want to do for this video is we only want to run this code or this jQuery only after the HTML document has finished loading, because we don't want to refer to any elements that haven't been loaded and then we get into errors and issues. So this part has been done because we've already got the function that says only when the HTML document is fully loaded and is ready, then we will run these functions. So that part has been done. Now let's go to this part, add hover event listener to each grid item with the class item. So I'm just going to copy this line and just change what we need to change. So for each this line here, we are selecting all the elements with class item. We want to attach not the double click event listener, but instead the hover. And we want to actually run two functions, but let's work with the first function. Now the first function, or the two functions that we actually want to work on. So let's actually just sort of organize our code so we know what we have. So basically we will run. So this function here will run. So we want this function to close like this, and then we will run another function like that, like so. Basically, we have two functions. So that's pretty much what we have. Okay, so let's look at this line here. This line says animate the grid's items width and height on mouse enter. So let's write some code to do that. This element or this object that we have, clicked on or hovered, or that was triggered basically. Now we want to use the animate method. And so here we can basically just use CSS properties. And so we want to use CSS properties for the selected elements. In this case, we want to work on the width. Let's just say I would like the width to go bigger. So let's just say, let's go with 100 pixels and then change what we need to change if we're not happy with it. And then we also want to work with the height properties of the elements. Again, the same, just keep it the same size, 100 pixels. And then we want to also set the speed to slow, yeah. And close it off like this, right? So we want to, okay, which basically what the slow means is we are gradually changing sort of the speed over time. Okay, so let's just, I can't run it, but yeah, I can't run it. Sorry, I think I've already got it closed here. Yeah, actually it's kind of working. Not the best. Okay, so you can see that the sizes of these are, let me just sort of, yeah. So the sizes are increasing when we hover the mouse over them. But now what we want to do is we want to work on this second effect, which is when we leave that box, we want it to return back to its original state. So now we want to write code for the other function. So let's just reuse what we have. Again, for this particular object that we are working on, but I just want to reduce it back to, I'm not sure what the original size is. Let's go with, I could look at the CSS class, but yeah, we can, so now it's coming back, but it's slightly smaller. So let's make it 60. One of them just kept on going on. All right, so it's coming back to the same. Look how cool that is. But you do notice something though. When it's maximizing, we want the box to appear on top of the other grid elements. So we want to work on layering them, if that makes sense. So we need to actually work with CSS. So let's go to our CSS file, and then what we want to do is for the item, we want to set the position to relative. How do you spell it? Relative. Yeah. And then we can work with the Z index. So for the Z index here, we can say 1. And what we're basically saying, so we're establishing some sort of a stacking content for each grid item. So when we have the most over an item, initially the initial Z index is 1, but then we can also say that, but when you hover, make the Z index 2. And so what that means is that it will make it move on top of the stacking order. So this will go in the order of 1. This will go in the order of 2, making it appear above the other items. Let's see how that works. So can you see the difference? So initially the item is at order 1, but the hovered item comes in the second order. Okay, so it's much better. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for this video. I hope it was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.